It's one thing being a short hitter with your irons. Do you want to hit your irons further? Do you want to hit straighter golf shots? Do you want to lower your golf scores? And of course, do you want to reduce your handicap? Hi everyone, my name is James and welcome back to Get Good at Golf. In today's video, we're going to try to help you do just that, because we're talking irons today. And irons is quite an interesting one because I see so many people who struggle with driver and all you want to do is have a lesson with your driver. You want to hit more fairways, you want to hit it longer with your driver. But actually, if you can hit your irons that little bit further, you could bridge that gap between yourself and some of your playing partners that do hit it further off the tee than you. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how to hit more greens in regulation, how to hit the ball straighter, and then towards the back end of this video, we'll show you how to sneak in a couple of extra miles an hour so you can hit the ball a little bit further. But initially, what I want to talk about is how to control this club face, because so many people generally struggle with controlling the club face, and it can start with how you take the club away. You might think that's strange because I could take the club away in any mishmash shape and then, to be honest, try and hit it down at the ball, and I might be able to attack it better. You can see that one didn't work overly well, but you can see that that just stands up to my point of your takeaway having to be quite strong. I wanted that to go well, Chris. I wanted to but anyway. So what I want to make sure you do is make sure this club face stays nice and square on the way back. So what do we mean by nice and square? Because one thing I don't mean is that club face rotating this way so the toe of the club points up to the sky. That's something which you may have been taught when you were younger, you may have been taught it the last couple of weeks, but generally what we find when this happens is if the toe rotates open, that continues on the way up and the club face ends up way open. So from here, I have to match that on the way down. Now, how would I match that on the way down if I've opened the club face? I'd have to excessively close that club face. So if you struggle hitting the ball left and maybe hitting the ball right on occasion, that could be you, because if I open the club face up and turn it quick, that's the kind of shot I'm going to get. Low left, I've taken the loft off it and the ball's just gone straight to that left-hand side. Not ideal for what we're trying to do. If I don't time that well and I leave the face open because I've opened the face up here, I could leave it way open when we get that high right shot, which again, nobody wants. That's the shot where you think, oh, how has that only gone 114 yards? The reason being because this 7-iron dynamically is more like a 9-iron or a pitching wedge. Because if I open that club face up, look where it aims and look what happens to the loft. So rather than thinking, right, I'm going to work on my timing here, because there's every chance that I could maybe open the face up here and time it really well, a little bit like that one. The strike suffered a bit because I'm focusing too much on my rotation, but I've managed to hit it nice and square, and I managed to hit that green in regulation. But if we go back to the takeaway, which we spoke about, if I do this correctly, so I don't open it on the way back, I want to make sure like I'm taking the club away with my upper body here, and that club face matches my spine angle. So if it's matching my spine angle here, you'll notice that all I need to do is rotate to the top, put the club back down in this position where it matches my spine angle again, and turn my chest. If I turn my chest here, that club face is nice and square towards my target, but what else is happening here, Bobby? Shaft lean. So we have that element of forward shaft lean, which does what to the loft dynamically, Bobby? Reduces it. So what happens to the ball? It goes lower. And straighter and longer. It's doing all those things that you want it to do. You'll see the ball flights we've had there. It's not exactly perfect. It's not exactly consistent. But one thing I did as a young golfer when I started my PGA, I wanted to get more consistent, wanted to hit more greens. I focused so heavily on that. On the club face, what it was doing on the way back, what it was doing on the way through, and what this shaft angle is also doing as well. So if I can learn to square this up, you'll see I take it back here so it's matching my spine angle. It's not closed, it's not that way, it's matching my spine. If I stand up, it matches. If I go more down, it matches. That's generally my rule of thumb with what happens to that club face. So now, I should be able to take it away, work through. You see that ball's going a lot further, it's banged towards that green, a little bit of draw on it, and that's carried 166 yards, finishing 167 yards. So for me, those numbers with the 7-iron are pretty bang on. That's what I would expect. Now you could say, James, that ball's gone left. You've missed the green to the left slightly. It would actually be within tour average from that distance, but yes, I have. So what did I do wrong there that made that club face just close ever so slightly? For me, what I want to make sure is I'm matching that with the rotation of my body. If my body rotates properly, if I get to the top of the swing, I allow the hip to move down here, that gives me room for the hands to work to the left. So you'll see that we do have that forward shaft lean like we said. So I don't think there, looking at that trajectory, looking at how high that trajectory is, that I actually got that forward shaft lean properly correct. Like, I'd take that on the golf course, it would be absolutely fine, but I feel like it would be generally not perfect. So if I do the same here, and I try and turn my hips just a little bit quicker, try and clear them out a little bit better, that gives me more room for the shaft lean, and you can look at that for a ball flight now. Straightforward, nice and penetrating, nice and low. Again, it's carried 176 yards, and that's down the throat of the flag. So that felt like a better strike, and you can see how much I've cleared the hips there on the left to allow myself to get through it. Now we look at the top of that ball fly, not only have we hit a straight shot, but we've actually hit a shot where, for me, I'm really happy with the peak height, really happy with that trajectory. So we've spoken about squaring that up, we've spoken about how to hit it a little bit longer. What happens now if I want to hit it even further than that? So if I want to hit even further than that, we need to speak about sequencing. So sequencing is the key to being able to do what I just did at the end there, where I said, right, all I'm going to do is turn my hips quicker. Because you ask a lot of people to do that and they'll do this. Oh, no. Let me go again, because James said, turn your hips quicker. So I need to, oh, no. Right, well, Chris definitely said to turn my hips quicker. So if I get to the top here, I just, oh, no. I actually tried to hit the ball then as well. But it's imperative that we think about that sequencing. So we're going to go right back now to the takeaway. And all I want you to think about in the takeaway is the club face square, like we said, but also, am I separating the upper and lower body? So for me, if I take that club away this way, the club face can be okay, but what's happened here, Bobby? We haven't separated, have we? We've done a one-piece takeaway here. That makes it very difficult then to create any speed whatsoever. So this is where you could come unstuck, and you could watch YouTube videos, you could have lessons, you could go and see your local coach, and you think, why aren't I doing it? Because I know the club face is right, I know I'm sort of moving my hips better, I know I've got that forward shaft lean. Well, if you're not separating on the way back, you can't then have a good sequence on the way down. So we all know the downswing, it's almost like a race to the ball, isn't it? Starting with the lower body, working the way up. And if we think about that on the takeaway and on the backswing, it's club moves, arm moves, shoulder moves, torso moves, hip moves, then we're at the top. Now let's rewind that. Hips move, torso moves, arm moves, grip moves, club moves. So we know there that that's the sequence in reverse on the way down. Now I can trigger my downswing with my hips. This stops me being a short hitter, stops me flipping the club over, and stops me relying upon timing, like we said earlier on in this video. So if I were to do that again for you, try and put that speed in, you can see once again, I've got a nice ball flight towards that target, pitching at around 170, 166 yards. Guys, if you think that's going to help you, please make sure you do hit that subscribe button here to Get Good at Golf. Throw a like on this video if you think it is going to help you, and comment below what would you like to see next to help you get good at golf.